While Australia might be currently experiencing recessionary conditions because of the lockdowns in Sydney and Melbourne, the mining industry and iron ore especially continue to boom for the shareholders and, of course, the government. Business editor Ross Greenwood joins me. And Ross, Rio Tinto's profit out yesterday was eye-watering. It was $16.6 billion, and that's in just 6 months.
You're right, quite right. Eye-watering is the right word for it. $16.6 billion in 6 months. This is a record. It's smashed all-time highs. And it comes, of course, when iron ore prices have been at $200 a tonne. Australia really has been the only game in town with China. China has been ramping up production. So while China has got all sorts of actions against other parts of Australia's economy, banning exports in barley or coal or whatever it might be, the one area they have not touched, don't dare to touch, is iron ore, simply because they can't get enough of it from other parts of the world. And so this is the reason why they are trying, I've got to say, in Africa, they are trying to get more out of Brazil. They can't. And so as a result, Australia's iron ore industry is booming. So you see it out of this profit from Rio Tinto overnight. That profit, as I say, $12.2 billion US is $16.6 billion. It's more than doubled. It's up 124% over the past 12 months in the comparison with last year. Now, just go to the dividend as the key thing here, because what you can see is for the shareholders are getting paid $12.4 billion. That's $7.63 a share. It's very, very strong. Overnight in London, we're starting to see the numbers come through here in Australia. The Rio Tinto share price up by 1.25%. It's not the only one, though, because just this morning we've heard from FORETESCUE also, and it's shipping out record amounts of iron ore. It had a record year last year. It's had another record year in this last financial year. It's expecting another record in the next financial year that we're currently in. So
wow.
It's shipped 49 million tonnes per quarter, 182 million tonnes per year. You can do the maths. If you can work it out at $200 a tonne, you're better than me. But it's an awful lot of money. It's an awful lot of iron ore. It's an awful lot of dirt going out to China largely. And really, this is what is fueling not just the boom in these iron ore miners, but also the federal government's coffers as well.
Wow. Well, I mean, a question without notice, and I hate to be, someone that talks too much about taxes, but is there an argument here for a broad-based super profits tax looking at this?
Well, if you were certainly of that nature, you could argue that, yes, because the profits they're going to make will be quite phenomenal, as you're seeing out of that Rio Tinto profit there. The one interesting part about this is costs are rising. So remember the old mining boom days when costs were out of control and, they were literally having to pay cooks $120,000 to $150,000 because they just simply could not get the people into the West. Well, there are signs right now that those costs are starting to rise for the miners again. I think it was Rio Tinto that showed its prices were up on average by around about 11%. So this is well above inflation rates, and it does show that while they might be mining more of this stuff, getting as much out to China as they can, that the cost of doing so is starting to rise. That's one of the interesting keys. But as I say, it's not quelling their profits whatsoever, because until there's alternative supply from other parts of the world, really Australia's iron ore miners are the only place China can get sufficient quantities of iron ore to make its economy continue to grow.
Yep, it's really interesting when you match the rhetoric and actual action from China. They've got an insatiable appetite for our iron ore. It doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon.